Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classics slash Non-Classic. This is episode number 735 and Doubleshot number 639. Two Superman trades. First up, it's Superman, the Man of Steel, Volume 1, which contains the original miniseries. Yep, the original Man of Steel miniseries that, yes, Brian Michael Bendis drew inspiration for this miniseries for his own miniseries of Man of Steel released just a couple months ago. Yep. Now, this miniseries is written and drawn by John Byrne. Yep. He does both the writing and artwork for the series. With Dick Giordano. Yep. The guy who's listening here. He's the anchor of this thing. Now, after the events of Crisis on Infinite Earths, both Superman and Action Comics were given both a 6-month hiatus just so this miniseries can come out. Yep. And with this miniseries, you had the first post-crisis appearance of Superman, obviously. His parents, Jor-El and Laura L. You have Superman's first meeting with Lois, but not Lois's first post-crisis appearance. That was actually done in the second issue of Booster Gold, of all things. Yeah, Booster Gold. You have the first post-crisis meeting of Batman and Superman that happens in issue 3. And also the first post-crisis appearances of Mom and Pa Kent, Bizarro, and Lex Luthor. Yep. Also, for some reason, Byrne drew Lex Luthor kind of look almost exactly like Gene Hackman for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah, basically the story of this is one origin story for Superman post-crisis that I actually consider to be the definitive origin story, despite the fact we had two others like Secret Origin and I think the other one was Identity. Secret Identity, I think it was. Yeah, one was done by Jeff Johns. The other, of course, was done by Mark Waid. This is the one I consider to be the definitive origin story, which I think John's kind of even though that the other two simply mixed in elements of Smallville in there. Yeah. Also, Lana Lang appears in here as well. Yeah. And the way the post-crisis Superman works is that he did not have any time. There was no history of him as Superboy in Smallville. There's no reference to it at all. That's been completely retconned to now exist in the post-crisis universe. And you also get a chance to see him work for Daily Planet. We see destruction of Krypton. Not the first time, but yeah. We see destruction of Krypton. We see Lex, who actually goes to jail. Yep. He actually goes to jail for knowing about a terrorist attack on his boat and doing nothing about it. He got arrested. He got let go. I think he got a slap on the wrist. But yeah. He was arrested. First time Lex Luthor's actually been caught and arrested post-crisis, because a lot of the time, and he would try to weasel his way out of this, yeah, he will deny a certain employee who he's sent after Superman. He would deny ever even knowing this man, or the fact that this equipment was his, or the guy was fired. Yeah. That'll be a recurring thing with Lex Luthor for years. Yes, this will be a recurring trope for him for at this point for the next, I would say for the next 14 years. This was a recurring trope of his before he got elected to be president of the United States, where Superman would catch somebody who has tech that belonged to Lex, and he would deny the tech was even made by his company. Yep, he would frequently do it. Yeah, of course Superman would also break his window. He was standing outside his window. But yeah, so he would tolerate this for a little while. But I gotta say, this miniseries is fantastic. Highly recommend people who are fans of both John Byrne and of Superman. Also, issue 3 is the first appearance of the character Magpie, a character who was made specifically for the 1980s. Though here's something really weird about her. After this appearance, her next appearance will be Batman number 401 as a part of a tie-in for Legends. No joke, that's literally her next appearance. This character appeared on and off for the next 20 years until she got killed off in a storyline called Face to Face by a guy known as the Great White Shark. Well, a guy who was hired by him. Now, you probably think Face to Face. Oh, is a Two-Face story. It kind of is, but Two-Face is not the main villain. Nope, it's Great White Shark. He's the one responsible for everything in that story. Yep. But I gotta say, fantastic work. 10 out of 10. Awesome. Highly recommend it. And my friend Tivy loves this series. I don't know if he's ever reviewed it or not. I highly recommend Tivy if you watch this. I'd like to hear your thoughts on the miniseries as well. Excuse me. We got more Superman. Superman Volume 3, Fury at World's End. Written by Scott Lobdell and artwork by Kenneth Rockford. I asked Scott, I did not talk to him about this Superman run. Nope. I gotta say, for a Superman run, from what I read from it, it's actually a not bad run per se. It's actually sort of a slight improvement over what actually happened just prior to him taking over the book. Yeah, of course, this book contains issues 0 and 13 and 17. Issue 0 is kind of the it's the post-Flashpoint origin of basically the explanation of showing off how Krypton was destroyed and the fact that people who were running Krypton were basically big idiots. Yeah, that's how their lives have been affected. The people who run Krypton are complete buffoons. And I think Scott Lobdell probably played it up way too much. Yeah, there were coup d'etats and stuff like that. It was really weird. Also, all the issue zeros did this thing where you have characters who punch through the cover. Every single issue 0 was like this. That's not a joke. This is actually how the covers were presented. Yeah, it's basically what they did was they show on an image. A lot of the time it's usually issue 1, but then they have the character pop up. But yeah, Jor-El. And I know for fact Jor-El just recently returned. The artwork by Kenneth Rockford, who currently does the Sideways series, which is fantastic, by the way. Yeah. And then the rest of the issues are just part of the storyline Hell on Earth. Yeah. This is the guy Hell. Apparently he's a Kryptonian. And he's a friend. He was apparently a friend of Jor-El's. And he lied. Yep. Of course, this story did get follow-up with Krypton Returns. I will eventually review that. My only thoughts on what I see here from the events of Hell on Earth, it's an okay story. It's not terrible. It's not all that bad. It's just that, well, I kind of felt as though when it comes to this particular storyline, yeah, it's kind of the same thing with others. This is actually one of the biggest problems with the Superman trades, is that they have parts of a story, not the entirety of it. In the case of Hell on Earth, there is an actual trade that collects this whole story. Same thing with Throne of Atlantis. It's kind of the same thing. But in the case of Aquaman, they actually rather throw in the Justice League issues. Here, they don't throw in the issues of Superboy and Supergirl. Oh, in case you wanted to Action Comics scientists, nope. Action Comics has nothing to do with the storyline because Action Comics is set in the past. Yep, it's actually set during Superman's first year of crime fighting. Yeah, that's when during the period of time when Grant Morrison wrote the book. I gotta say, Hell is not that bad of a character, but the follow-up story is, from what I know about it, I barely remember about the story, not very good. But I gotta say, Hell on Earth is actually not that bad of a story. I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10. I want to be fair to Scott Lobdell. It's actually a pretty decent story. It's not terrible. It's a pretty good story. It's not good, let's say, like Man of Steel, the Superman of Steel miniseries, but it's actually not that bad. I know my friend Tivy is not a fan of this era. No, he does not like the 2 era Superman at all. He thinks it's probably terrible. My friend Edgar doesn't have a really big problem with it at all. No, he doesn't have a really big problem with it. I didn't have a really big problem with it either because I didn't start reading Superman until the start of the New 52. That is pretty much when I started reading Superman because when I started DC Comics, the only comic franchise I was into was Batman and Green Lantern. And that was it. Superman was one franchise I was very hesitant to get into because of how long the series were, and eventually I decided to read it. Matter of fact, I'm going to read Superman really soon, some older stuff anyways. Yeah. But probably the best thing about these issues is the artwork by Kenneth Rockford. Fantastic artwork. Scott Lobdell gets him currently on Red Hood and the Outlaws, which I think is the only series working right now, because it was when he was doing this is actually one of 4 comic books he was doing for DC. You have this, Teen Titans, Superboy, and Red Hood and the Outlaws. Though he left Red Hood and the Outlaws, I think after issue, I think it was after Death of the Family he left. But yeah, when this storyline was going on, he was working on 4 comic books at the same time. Yeah, and then also, even after he stopped doing Red Hood and the Outlaws, he got briefly replaced, basically, the fourth Scott, basically, he got Action Comics for a brief period of time before Greg Pak took over with issue number 27. Yep. Yeah, because Andy Dingle took over after Grant Morrison left. Stayed on for about 5 issues. Left. Liddell came on the book for a few issues. But my guess is he was probably there waiting until Greg Pak was ready to take over the book. That's my personal guess. Of course, Greg Pak himself was the second to last writer of Action Comics before it was restored to its triple digit numbering just 2 years ago. Yeah, he was the second to last writer because the last writer was Pierre J. Tomasi. Yep. Though Tomasi take a stay on Superman for the next couple years. Alright, so as for Scott Lobdell himself, this is actually the start of his run for Superman. Yeah, this is the start of it. But he will stay on the book until issue 31. That would be his last official issue. He was in the book. He was in this book officially for about 2 years. And then he left. And then Jeff Johns took over for about 7 issues. Rabia Jr. basically took over for 1 issue. And then we have the guy who did the new Superman series. He took over Superman for pretty much for the last year of the book before it got relaunched a couple years ago with Pierre Tomasi on the book. And now the book's relaunched again, now with Brian Michael Bendis on the book. Yeah, pretty much in the past 7 years, this book has gone through more writers than Action Comics has. Because you have George Perez, Keith Giffen, Dan Jurgens actually this run, Scott Lobdell, John Romita Jr., Jeff Johns, and of course the guy who did New Disney Superman, Pierre J. Tomasi. There's in the past, this book has had more writers than Action Comics and a lot of other books. I would say this book has had a total number of probably about, I would say, a good 12 writers in just 7 years. That is not a joke about that book. It is completely true. Look it up. You'd be shocked at how many writers basically this book had. Yeah, but the reason why that was, in the case of the first year, because of editorial interference. And I will eventually get a chance to do that first 2 trades. But yeah, my library had this. So I figured, why not get my thoughts on it? Like I said, it's not bad. I've said this before when I originally read this. This is a step up from the first year of this run. Yep. So yeah, that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode where I've got 2 Batman related trades to talk about. Okay? But we'll see you next episode. Bye.